Now, the UN is appealing for more than $2 billion to support 7.6 million Somalis who need urgent assistance. The failure of 5 rainy seasons has badly hit the country's economy, which relies heavily on livestock and farming. Mohamed Kahie has more from Mogadishu.
At the launch of a humanitarian response plan in Mogadishu, the United Nations office in the country says it needs $2.6 billion to assist 7.6 million Somalis seriously affected by drought and conflict. 3.5 million heads of livestock have already died, and more than 3.8 million people have been displaced following the prolonged drought.
Global outlook this year is challenging. I urge donors, whether traditional or non-traditional, including and especially the Gulf countries, to stand with the people of Somalia at this difficult time. I also appeal for more resources to be channeled to national actors who are critical frontline responders.
Somalia says it is bearing the brunt of climate change, and it now needs funding to mitigate the impact.
The world is changing. It's shifting to the climate change era. We are in the climate reality. We are dealing the climate reality. We are the Somalis, very zero contributing to the climate change, but we are facing this dire consequence. And we are the victim. We are the victim. We need a justice.
Aid agencies in Somalia have received huge amounts of humanitarian assistance during the past 10 years. Government officials are calling for more accountability in the use of donor funds.
I really admire and appreciate your sacrifice, your effort, your energy, your time, but we need to get tangible results. And we need to be better, not to the worse. If you look into the humanitarian and read the humanitarian response plan, year after year, the humanitarian crisis is growing, not lessening. Is it that the industry? We need to answer that question, really.
Aid agencies say about 8 million people, that is half of Somalia population, lack access to safe water and sanitation. As humanitarian agencies appeal for more funding, insecurity and renewed conflict continues to hinder provision of aid to most affected people. Mohamed Kahie, CGTN, Mogadishu, Somalia.
Well, CGTN's Mohamed Kahie is in Mogadishu and joins us with more. Mohamed, thanks for standing by. Mohamed, the UN seeks $2.6 billion to assist about 7.6 million vulnerable people in Somalia. Could you explain to us what the situation is in Somalia right now?
Well, Richard, the UN says it needs this funding, which is $2.6 billion to support and sustain its ongoing humanitarian operations in the country. Remember, we're talking about 5 delayed rainy seasons that has impacted the population, mainly livestock and agricultural sector, which is the main economic activity here in the country. Efforts are ongoing across the country, but the UN says that almost half of the population, that is 8.2 million Somalis, still need assistance, and the needs is growing day by day. And also the donor funding also they are not receiving the almost all the money they have appealed for, and the operations on the ground and in the frontline workers have been affected by in terms of people providing this assistance. So the needs are growing every day, and the people are being displaced, and the climatic conditions are not changing, and also the fundings are not also sufficient. So these are the conditions on the ground. But they are saying that the UN now says that in April and June, if the weather forecast in the country will not change, there will be dangers of famine in the country, in Somalia, which is already grappling with a lot of climatic conditions resulting in famine and drought.
Well, Mohamed, indeed, delayed rainy seasons there, and of course, Somalia bearing the brunt of climate change. My question to you now is, what kind of solutions are government and partners discussing to deal with this protracted crisis?
Well, Richard, the UN agencies and also the Somalia's government agencies led by the Disaster and Management Department are coordinating to provide much needed assistance to people displaced by drought across the country, mainly in big cities like Mogadishu, in the south is Kismayo, and also areas liberated from armed group Al-Shabaab, which was inaccessible. But now, due to the security situation, which has improved, are accessible. People there are being, affected by the drought are being delivered humanitarian assistance. But still, as I've said before, the needs are still growing. The climatic conditions and the weather-focused experts are saying that things are not good, looking good, well. And of course, that's why the UN agencies are calling for more funding to avert this famine.
Mohammed Kahir speaking to us from Mogadishu. Thanks for that.